Good evening, everybody. It's Tyler again with High Crucible Steels. Just kind of putting some things together here. I was going to sharpen a knife and let you guys watch. How's everybody's Labor Day, Monday gone so far? Hope everybody's been relaxing, kind of getting ready for the week. I know it was a nice little break for me. It was my mom's 67th birthday. We just went out to eat for that, so that's pretty cool. Since I've been home, I've been eating caramel and all this other stuff, all this candy, and might have got a little bit on my shirt. But anyways, hope you guys have all enjoyed the day. I am going to sharpen one of my bigger blades that has gotten a little dull on me. I use it quite often. This is the Caribbean Salt Leaf with LC200N steel, blade steel. Very highly corrosion resistant blade steel. Also, it's really tough, and it also has some harder carbide, so the edge retention is not bad. I like this steel, and it's not too hard to sharpen either. I think last time, let's take a look at what LC200 sharpens best at. What grit does LC best at? See if we can get a Siri answer. Okay. It says here, LC200 performs best when sharpened to a high grit, such as with a 1000 grit stone or even finer, to achieve a fine durable edge that lasts longer in testing compared to coarser, toothier edges. While it handles high grit levels well, it performs on a fine edge, is comparable to other steels like S35 and CPM 154. Okay, that's all I needed to know. So yeah, 154 does really well at like 1200 grit, 1000 grit, maybe even higher. So that kind of helps me decide here what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring it back down. Probably gonna start it, go ahead and go to the 140 grit here, Atoma, since I got it out already. Go ahead and break that steel down a little bit and then go up from the 140 to definitely up to at least 1200, I'd say. So instead of going all the way down to 140, let's try the 220 sharp all. I think that's a better idea. It's a little bit smoother of a stone as well. It's a 220 600 stone here, because the 140 is really coarse, so it's a tough stone to get to break your knife down to, and that blade steel. Alright, I'm going to tighten this up. Alright, always check your bevel angle before you start. I recommend one of these little cube things. And like with most steels, I am going to use my finger. I want to make this a little bit above 16, like a 17. That's a 17-degree angle right there. Alright, now usually make an indentation in your finger, just enough so that you can draw a little line across it with a magic marker. I can still barely see that, but that's where it was. Basically don't want it to go above that line too much. And we'll go ahead, and since we got the thing out, do the other side. Try to put your thumb at where you would like to drag it or lead it, push it, so that whenever you put it back on there, it's exactly at the exact same angle that you had in the beginning. You can kiss these two fingers together, and as you can tell, they'll end up right in that same spot. Basically, that's another technique. But yeah, let's get the show on the road. How you guys this week been? Got another one coming up here shortly. It's always fun. Alright, we'll start up a little bit higher on this one, just because I know I like to push. I know what my tendencies are, so if I know what my tendencies are, I can kind of safeguard against them. One thing I did not do is mark my bevel with a marker here, and that's okay because I can still see where I'm hitting. And basically I'm just trying to make this side not as thick in the width of the bevel. I've been known to push down too far with the angle, so I'm gonna try not to do that. So the pattern is always kind of at an angle, 45-degree angle, and the only thing that's moving here is your elbow. You're just locking everything else, the wrist is locked, and you're really only putting pressure on the knife on the forward pass, this pass, and then you're just letting it go along for the ride on the way back. I don't know if you guys can tell there, but there is a small line that's clean where it once was laid down too far and sharpened too high up, but I just don't want to bring it down to that level again. But I already got a little miniature burr there, and that's a good sign. Try not to get mixed up like I have before and do like a rounded pass, like almost like a backwards L. Don't do that. Try to go more at that 45-degree angle like this versus this, because that will round, especially at the tip, that will end up rounding your tip, making that tip a little bit less usable, to be honest, and not as pleasing aesthetically to the eye. So yeah, you're just going back and forth. I'm running this probably around 18 degrees right now, just to be safe. My problem was on the pushback. I would lean forward too much over time, and that alone right there will cause your bevels to be thicker on that side, especially compared to the other side if you've got it down pat. But I've been doing this for about 3 months, so I'm still learning. I think I'm unlike most people. I came into this wanting to sharpen basically, and then knives were just inherent. You know, I took out a few kitchen knives and tried to sharpen those first, but as soon as I got these knives, this Spyderco here, I was sharpening them. Every single Spyderco I have, I've sharpened from the beginning. I don't mind sharpening the knives. That's what they're for, to be sharpened. And you know, for me, as a learner, yes, they're expensive knives, expensive steel to sharpen, but it also is useful for you folks out there to see what tools are the proper tools to use on like super hard steels like LC200N or S30V or S45VN, S90V, 15V, 10V, 3V, steels that have high carbides, high vanadium in them. Also, you want to have a thing of paper towels nearby just to wipe things down. This stone needs cleaning. I do have a good burr up there already. I can feel it all the way across, and if you look close enough you can actually see it. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip over, find my angle. I'm gonna test that angle real quick. Okay, so that angle is around 17, almost 18, which is what I was running anyway. I like to do a couple backwards passes real quick at that 45-degree angle. Flips that burr right on over all the way down, and now it's ready to be sharpened on the other side. You want to get the first stone sharpening right, and what I mean by that is the first grit that you use, you want to go ahead and make it almost perfect, because that's the edge that you're going to end up refining to eventually. As you can tell, there's a little line there across the top, the little clear white line. That's where I'm not touching any further up the knife edge side of the blade. So that's a good bevel for me. I like that tiny bevel, but see how it doesn't match the other side? But it does match what I did today. So anyway, this one's already ready to deburr on both sides. I'm gonna give it a few more passes just to make sure that we're on the right, you know, that we have sharpened enough. I can actually feel this thing getting loose, so I'm gonna tighten it up real quick. That's a T10. Just for the sharpening, I'm gonna tighten it up real good. Yeah, she's stiff as a board now. You don't want that blade moving around on you whatsoever. Still somewhere around 18. It's okay to remeasure, guys, especially in the beginning. Whenever you're trying to get that muscle memory right. My knee is itching right now, but I am not gonna itch it because I've got a perfect angle right now. Okay, so that looks good. We're gonna go ahead and do a backwards pass here as well, just to flip the burr over. I like to feel it, just to see. And we go back and forth. Okay, alternating forward passes, and we've got that burr completely removed for the most part. I just like to show you guys this process, just makes it more understandable if you can see it for yourself. Okay, so there's our bevel and the scratch patterns all consistently the same direction, nice and jagged like you would expect from a 220. In my previous video it looked just like this. There are some imperfections here and there, but that's okay at this scratch, at this grit. All right, on this side you can really see that white line there, just this thick right here. That's where I wasn't touching the bevel any longer. You know, I held the angle up a little bit higher there. But you can really see that burr actually on this side. So it actually tells me that I have some more passes to take. So I'm gonna go ahead and take those real quick. These are not hard passes. These are not sharpening passes. These are deburring passes. All right, we're gonna recheck that on the same exact side. Alright, I think I just lifted the burr up even further. But that's okay because that can be sharpened right out. Let me see what hitting it with a strop will do real quick. So it's just a small little strop I've made here, holding it around the same angle, and just see how much difference that makes. Yeah, that looks so much better already. And this other side is really gonna look good, I'm sure. Oh yeah, that's just fine there. That'll work. Alright, we're ready for the next stone. We're gonna turn this off real quick. And the ultimate goal is to bring it up to around 1,000 grit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to flip this over to the 600 grit, 600 fine, tighten it back down. All right, and we're back. This 600 grit stone should be just plenty to get us right and refine this edge even further. Already looking good all the way down. Almost there. We've got a burr almost pretty much all the way down except for at the heel. Okay, that's good enough for me. As you can see, the other side's gonna have all that build up from that burr that I just made. A few backwards passes, clean it up, and then we'll go forward. And we're gonna make sure that we're on the right angle, and we are. Here we go. When you see me do this, it means I'm concentrating in an area. Right now I'm concentrating on that heel, and I'm getting more of the belly here, and then I'm just doing the tip up here, okay? And I'm just moving right on down, and then back into full strokes. All right, we have a burr pretty much all the way down. Not completely there all the way yet. We will be. Okay, feeling great. We're just gonna go back and forth now with the passes, just like earlier, starting that deburring process. All right, we're gonna see the same picture we did earlier, except with a 600 grit this time. Okay, it's plugged in. Okay, yeah, much nicer. Boy, yeah, that's a full-on burr at the bottom there, guys. Boy, that is gonna be tough to remove. All right, we gotta remove that. We got some more work to do. I'm gonna pull up the angle just slightly. And we're gonna rip that burr right off of there, nice and easily. All right, definitely helped, and we're better than where we started there. The burr is now removed on that side mostly. And then we got the little tiny guy that'll be able to be wiped out on the next stone. All right, so we are ready for the next stone. I'm gonna strop it real quick, put this stone up, and we're gonna grab this 1200 Atoma to finish us up. When you change to a different stone, and even if you flip a stone, you should always re-zero out your cube. I didn't do that when I flipped the stone earlier, but it is a good idea. I'm gonna sharpen this one right around 17. All right, it's gonna take a little while to raise a burr on a 1200 grit stone. It's the nature of the stone, so we're gonna spend some time here. All right, we're starting to get a little something there. We're back. Got a little tiny burr going on right there. That's about all that I feel right now. Definitely getting it down here. Now it's time to get it up here. See what's going on. See if I'm even hitting that tip. And a good way to figure out if you're hitting the tip or not is to mark it up, just like you did your finger. I can hold on to a marker for long enough. There it is, hiding from me. All right, so be this side here. Just where we want to hit it. There we go, guys, just like that. If you can get it concentrated where you want it, you can get it. I just had to tilt it a little bit higher of an angle, like 19 to 20 degrees at the tip, and it really started to rub right on the tip where I wanted it. You don't have to take long strokes. If you want quality strokes, you can go slow and short, especially if you're not sure. All right, we're now hitting the burr on all fronts. We're gonna go back the other way, flip it right on over. Okay. Same thing, we now have to sharpen the other side, of course. I have to say I'm very interested to see what it's doing on this side of the blade. Went ahead and made a real thick line there just so we can see just how much of that bevel is being touched on here. Okay, well, we're getting a pretty clear path right across where we want it to. And yes, there is a burr there, but that's the same burr from earlier. I don't like the Atomas. Sometimes they feel like they're soft and they won't dig into these higher carbide steels as easily. I don't like that about them, but they work good overall. You can hear that little saw noise, and that to me sounds like the diamonds are not digging in like they should, but they are. I can assure you that. I think we're good, guys. We're gonna go ahead and start doing those backwards passes. Flip that burr right on over. All right, good deal, guys. We're gonna go ahead and, yeah, that looks good. We're gonna go ahead and strop this guy up, give you a cut test, and I think we're pretty much done here, guys. Got a beautiful sharp blade now, and we're gonna touch that up once more with a bench strop with 1 micron Stroppy Stuff. Pretty good stuff here, definitely recommend it. It is high demand though. Seems like it's always out of stock, and I have to order mine from freaking London. All right. And that be that, guys. That be that. We're going to take a look at it like we did earlier just to see. And yeah, you just got a few fragments here and there. I can probably brush that off with a few back and forth strokes again. My deburring process could be a little bit better, but overall it's a finely sharpened knife at the end of the day with a pretty straight line there at 1200 grit. Go ahead and do a quick paper cut test just to see what we're working with. Ooh, yeah, little burr remnants here and there that I can fix real quick. We'll take a look at it again. Okay, we're gonna do a better job at this burr removal real quick before we finish up. I wanna get it done right the first time. Feels smooth. Let's just take a look. Much better. Much better. That little bit can be taken right off with a good burr removal process. This time I've got a 6 micron. Now down to the 1 micron one more time. Oh yeah. So after that proper stropping, that's what I was really looking for. You can see those new scratch patterns on top. That's all strop, but look at how clean it left that edge. Much cleaner. That's really what you want to see there on a knife. Just gonna do a few more strops. Oh yeah, the more you strop, the better you are, folks, especially after you sharpen it correctly. Yeah, burr removal is a lot harder than it looks, but you can see those little wire remnants that are just kicking off every time I restrop. So throughout the lifetime of this edge right here, I will hone and restrop throughout, so it'll be a pretty useful blade throughout no matter what. Let me get one more piece of paper. That's the leather from this tabletop. So clearly a very sharp blade, and LC200 does do pretty good work at above 1000 grit. So I'm going to re-loosen this up so that I can actually use it again. Doesn't take much for these G10 guys with a compression lock. Okay, much better. We just want it to be kind of drop shutty. Yeah, that'll loosen its way up. And yeah, so it's been fun, it's been real. Stay sharp, and we'll see you soon. Peace.